Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome to Hardcore Heroes. How are you guys doing this fine morning?
We're doing
Doing all right.
good.
You know,
Doing
when you
good.
always say that, I never know if you're talking to us or to the chat.
I'm talking to you guys, to the
Okay.
players.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's dicing with death meal. There you go.
You know what? The buttons are right next to each other, and I'm not wearing my glasses, and I'm getting old. My hands are cramping. It's cold. And my glasses are dirty too. It's a clusterfuck. Anyway, so how are you players doing today?
Decent.
Decent.
Worried.
Yeah.
Awake, at
Yep.
least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Went out to breakfast. I had eggs Benedict for I just realized the first time ever.
How
Whoa.
was it?
Wow.
It was all right. I'd prefer scrambled eggs. I see why I've had scrambled eggs over 20 years now.
Hmm.
Scrambled eggs are great.
They're the
Yeah.
best. Yeah. Uh-huh. So last we left, the party was in a bit of a pickle. Who wants to recap last week for some experience points?
I would nominate Corny because he needs some
Yeah.
damn experience.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. You're the best. Also, the fact that I wasn't involved in most of the actions helps. So I believe in the beginning we started by going. We started by hearing about the death of a knight in Burnshire, or no, farther down in the more populous village south. Where was that?
Burn something. Burnwick?
Burnshire.
Burnshire?
Was it Burnshire? Okay, it was
Yep.
Burnshire. Yeah, heard about the death of a knight in Burnshire, and we went to investigate, and we didn't really seem to figure much out in terms of someone who was a prime suspect. But we did manage to get Spike into some trouble that he really wasn't supposed to get into. But good old Croak here got him right in that. And we got him arrested eventually for that. I believe he's going to get hung at some point. Other than that, though, we came back, found Malachi's father was deathly ill, and we tried looking around for some kind of cure, but the best priest in town had left on some mission. And we found that the town conjurer might be willing to help for 500 gold or the hair of a giant. So we didn't get a hair of a giant. Pussies. Instead, we got a loan for 500 gold, and he did the spell, and it didn't even work. So we were left with a dying father. So what would any good adventuring group do but steal some high-level magical scrolls, which is exactly what Croak did. And that did end up curing Malachi's father of his ailment, as well as netting a buttload of experience and magical scrolls, which we now have to deal with the consequences of. I think that's about it.
That was a beautiful recap. I was prepared to give
Thank
100
you.
out for that, but that was on point. Add 150 to your character sheet,
Sweet.
and we will move on. So let's pick up right where we left off. You guys are in Shirebrook.
Mhm.
I believe Van Helsing is currently being talked to by Father Owen.
Yeah, when we left
streets.
off,
Yeah.
we found out that everything was stolen, and I was like, okay, we need to go find who did, or we need to go get everything back.
Yeah.
What time is it, Neil?
I believe it is mid morning, maybe.
Is that right?
Is that right?
I don't know. I feel like it's late. Maybe not.
I think it's
Maybe
like
not.
midday, probably.
Midday.
I feel like midday is the safest bet.
Right. Wait. This is the same day that all the scrolls were stolen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is probably actually in the afternoon, because I think it took a while to round up the people to go to the temple. So we're actually maybe mid-afternoon.
Sure.
Okay. How Well, I don't know. Who should we start with? Because we're all separated, right?
Right.
Don't start with me. Oh, never mind. You can start with me if you want. My computer froze for a second.
Well, I'll leave the potions on some unsuspecting fella. I believe his name was Bubba. And then I'm going to go find me a room at the nicest hotel in this here town and enjoy my excellent work. I think I have earned myself a large meal. No more vegetables and no more sit-ups for me today. This is fried food, beer, and a nice room.
Okay, you are at the Storybook Inn in the main square of
Excellent.
town. Okay, so Van Helsing, you are I don't want to say dragged because he's not physically dragging you, but you are taken towards the center of town by Father Owen. Not Father Owen. What's his name?
Do we not continue the
No,
conversation?
his name is Father
for-
Owen.
about
Yes,
the-
it is, but he is taking you towards the center of town so he can go to the sheriff's station to involve Mr. Tyrus Bellows. He wants to get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible. And the two of you come walking through the center of town only to find Tyrus kind of in combat with this strange man in robes.
Oh shit.
And
Wait, is it like like clearly battle?
like there are swords out, and as you start to kind of pause and see mouth agape what's happening, Tyrus has got his big magic sword in one hand, and the other guy just blinks out of existence, just vanishes.
Oh, I was gonna say I just scream die at him because I have command memorized.
Yeah. Well,
Darn.
he vanishes.
Vanlin.
Tyrus looks around, and he must hear or see something that you don't see because he turns and takes off towards the edge of town and runs.
I kind of look at Father Lloyd and like, should we be following him?
Of course, after him.
Wait, is he
He
like,
might need our help.
young enough- Yeah, is he like young enough to be running?
He's 57. He can run. He's
Okay.
not a cripple.
All right, if
Does
he needs
somebody
like,
scream Carl?
You're not around
yeah, if he's like
to hear anything like that.
if he's like starting to lag behind me or something, I'll like help pull him along to make sure he can keep up.
Yeah,
I love
he's
that
maybe
show.
a little bit slower than you, but
Okay.
he's just behind you. Tyrus is well ahead of you, and he takes off towards the edge of town. You lose him for a little bit, and by the time you get back to the edge of town, he is turned around and storming furiously back into town. You've actually never seen Tyrus look like this. He's usually a peaceful man, quite calm, quite ready to deal with things, but you see anger and rage on his face as he shoves his way through town, past you, without even a word, and makes his way towards his sheriff's station. Father Owen catches up with you and goes, "Well, what is all that? Tyrus, come back! We have a problem, Tyrus!"
I kind of like motion to him. I say, should we give him a few minutes at least? He doesn't seem to be in the best of times.
Oh, come now! You can't get away with this easily. Well,
I'm not. I have no problem with bringing this to him, but we should probably at least give him a few minutes.
you guys wait around, maybe start going in the direction of his station when you see Tyrus followed by a couple of his men on horseback galloping down the road, and you have to jump out of the way, and they're down the road and out of town. And Father Owen is standing there looking around, and he's like, well, then
I
we'll
kinda
just
just
have to
start-
take this straight to the Baroness herself.
I kind of like turn to him. I say, while you're doing that, I will go to the Baroness with you if you would prefer, or I could see if I could do some investigation work of my own and find who took the scrolls.
I have an idea who took those scrolls. There were a lot of sailors walking around at the time that these things were taken. An unusual amount of dirty sailors in a very clean establishment.
What would sailors want with the scroll?
I don't know, but Malachi's father captained a ship full of sailors. Perhaps they were his men there, providing a distraction. And the acolytes, while they didn't see who took the scrolls or anything, or even see that the door was opened, also happened to spot a traveling companion that we've noticed with you these past days, a man with bulging eyes. We will go and round up Malachi, his sailors, and this, what is his name? I don't even know his name, but we'll find him.
The man with bulging eyes?
Yes,
His name would be Croak.
yes, we will gather them up. Isn't there a fourth one that's normally with you? Your little clique that you've been traveling around with.
There's a gnome. I highly doubt that gnome would ever steal anything.
No, he's too short to do anything like that, but maybe he will be willing to testify.
It's
All evidence is
possible.
good
I know
evidence.
it's possible, but he spends most of his time in the cellar. Still, I guess it couldn't hurt to ask.
Very well then. He walks with you. Gad gets a couple of guards, tells the guards what's going on.
I kind of like
asks- oh, yes.
before he leaves, I say, Father Owen, let's say it was my traveling companion who stole the scrolls, which I don't know. Let's entertain the possibility. Do you think he would have hidden them?
I think the more time we spend waiting, the more likely it is that that the perpetrator, whoever that may be, can get away or hide or destroy their evidence.
That is possible. However, what do you believe is more important here? Getting the scrolls back or punishing the people responsible?
Getting to the bottom of the problem.
If it comes down to it, we might want to consider negotiating.
With?
Whoever took the scrolls.
Yes,
If we
but
can
we have
find-
to find them first.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go.
Okay. So he heads to the sheriff's station, talks to a couple of guards who say that Tyrus has taken out of town, just gone, with a couple of the soldiers. Apparently, there's something about a lich in town, which doesn't make
I
much
was-
sense.
Yeah, I was not able to like hail him. Like if I tried hailing him, he just rode by.
Yeah,
right?
he was of a single mind.
Okay.
They're not sure what's going on, but they agree to go round up Malachi, all of his father's sailors, and then Croak and Corny, and bring them all to the keep at the center of town. And so, soon enough, I think all of you guys are rounded up and brought to the keep. Is there anyone who would like to protest or to try and talk to these soldiers, or are you all willingly coming?
Well, we haven't addressed the issue of where the scrolls actually are.
I think
I
you
feel
said
like
you
that's
hid them in
gotta
your
be
house.
Yeah, but like how well hidden is that?
It's true. You don't know any of those like hidey holes, like smuggler.
So,
spots.
Well, I mean, it's your house. You would know the best place to hide something in your house.
so we argued last time after show that given my dad's profession as a somewhat of a bit of a smuggler, there might be some pretty good hiding places in the house.
Possibly. Let's see what we have in terms of hiding places. Unfortunately, the dice say that he may have moved his hiding places elsewhere. The house has very average hiding places. You could lift up a floorboard, maybe dig a hole in the ground under the floorboard, but that's about as good as it's going to get.
What? Okay, dig up a floorboard, or move up a floorboard, dig a hole, bury them, put the floorboard back. Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to dig a hole big enough for all of these scrolls, that's going to be kind of big, and that's going to take up some space. You pile the dirt back on, and the floorboard won't fit down. So it'd be a little bit messy.
I mean, do you want to talk it out, or can I say I hide them to the best of my ability?
We'll just say you hide them to the best of your abilities.
Okay.
Well,
Does it sound like he should make a dex check?
no.
Intelligence, I would say.
Oh.
No. Come on, we didn't have a single roll last time.
That's true. Wow, I can't believe we did a whole session without a roll.
No, we had
HP
Glenn
rolls.
roll a 100 on his thieving skill.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A 1 on his
true.
HP.
Uh,
too.
Yeah, give me an intelligence check, why don't you?
Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I'll do.
Yes. But we should just be doing a d20 and you want to
Oh,
roll
yeah,
your
I'm
stat
so
or lower.
sorry.
It's fine. 13 is
Yeah.
still a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad either.
No, it's not bad at all. Okay, so you hide these scrolls to the best of your ability. Open up some floorboards, dig around, bury them, sweep the dirt back off the floorboards. Hope it looks inconspicuous. Is there anyone else that might want to protest being
Well, I'm protesting for sure. I don't understand why they're barging in and messing up my fine meal here.
Yeah. So two town's guardsmen walk into the storybook inn, start looking around. One of them starts asking the innkeeper something, while the other one elbows him and points at you. And you see these two guys coming towards you, like around, like raptors flanking you.
You're level
Well, hello,
3.
my fine gentlemen. What brings... I see you have some particular interest in me. Would you like to sit down and have a meal with me?
Today is not your lucky day. The
I don't
Baroness
understand what you
would
mean
like
by
to
that,
speak
son.
with you.
You want to speak with me? Well, speak.
The Baroness would like to speak with you. She has questions regarding a certain break-in.
A break-in? My God, that is such an awful thing. Well, why would she want questions with me? Does she need someone to help her replace items? I don't understand.
Why don't you come with us and find out?
Well, can I finish this meal first? I mean, I am quite famished. Yeah, here,
How much
have
food
a
is-
beer with me. I try to hand him my glass.
Does not go well. They
Ah.
slide the glass away on the table, or set it down and say, "Your meal will have to wait, sir."
Well, all right. I mean, if she needs help or something, who am I to refuse the Baroness? I am quite confused by this, though, I must say. So please lead the way for me.
It's out of our hands, son,
Oh, all right.
says the other one. And you were led away as well. Malachi, eventually you are
Yeah, I
found
go
sitting beside your father.
willingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of guards go off to round up the sailors as well. Corny, you're downstairs working on something when two guards come down and say, "Are you Corny, the ale maker?
That's me.
Will you come with us, please?"
What? But who will make the brew? Will you?
Someone else is going to have to brew.
Oh, my father. Yes, it seems. Yes, I shall go with you.
They gently escort you out the building.
Yeah. I just walk ahead of them.
Okay. So as Corny and Croak, you are the last two to be brought up to the keep. And as you are being kind of pushed through the center of town, in fact, you guys are coming out of your buildings roughly at the same time, a dwarf comes running up the street from the west, I'm sorry, shouting, "Bullywugs! Bullywugs! They're everywhere! Bullywugs!" The guards kind of keep a hand on you, and the dwarf comes panting up to them, saying, The mines! There's bullywugs! They've overrun the mines! They're everywhere! We've got dwarves trapped inside! There's people dead on the outside! There's bullywugs everywhere!" The four guards kind of exchange looks. One of
My
them
dear
quickly...
sir, why don't you find yourself some tyrants? I have met the man. He seems quite capable.
One of the guards says, "He left town earlier today." Here,
Oh, my. Well,
Johnson, you take these guys up to the Baron. I'll rally everyone else, and we'll meet down at the edge of town. And one of the guards takes the two of you and starts making his way towards the keep if you guys continue to go willingly with him.
I'm sorry. Was that a plot hook for a quest?
I don't work quite so transparently. The quest is whatever you make of it. But if that's something you want to do, you can do whatever you want.
Are we already in the keep, me and Van Helsing?
Yes, you have gone up the steep incline through the gates into the keep itself. You are being held in an
together?
antechamber before the main courtroom.
Together.
You are being held together. There is, next to Father Owen and none of the town guards, but two footmen, and this time I mean soldier footmen from the keep.
Okay, but there's
Foot
people
soldiers.
there, right? I guess I just give Van Helsing a concerned look.
Yeah, wait. So they're being held together, or am I being held with them?
You are being held with Malachi. Corny and Croak are on their way. I just want to see Corny and Croak. You now are only being escorted by one town guardsman. But he does have a spear. And
I look at him and I say, "Are you sure they don't need you too? Without Tyrus, I'm not sure if who's leading that bunch, you know?
I'll join him soon enough. Sounds bad, though.
Well, I mean, I've gone to the Baroness before. I know the way. I was being
No,
polite.
no, you're not getting away that easily. How many times I've heard that line? I know the way to the dungeons. I've been there before.
Really, that seems like an odd place to know the way to, but I do know the way to the Baroness's court. Now, I have a friend of mine, he's a wizard, and a friend of mine who's a cleric. Now, I would assume...
They're already up there.
Oh, they're already up there. Well, here's what I propose to you. Let me run fetch them. We will meet you and your other boys, and we'll take care of this bullywug problem with you, and then we'll go meet with the little Empress.
The little Empress?
Baroness, Empress, I don't know, titles. I'm a simple man. I
Little
don't need
Empress? Oh no, you're definitely getting walked up there now.
Oh, damn.
titles.
Little Empress. Show some respect.
Seriously, Croak, you're not the smartest bloke.
Minutes later, the whole party is gathered in the antechamber and brought into the main hall. Malachi and Van Helsing, you hear whisperings as the guard shows up about these bullywug issues. He's talking to Father Owen, and the footmen come over and listen. Everyone's hearing like, "Oh, bullywugs, what's going on?" And the four of you, plus Father Owen and the town guard, come into the main hall of the Baroness. She is seated on her chair on a dais in the back of the great hall. And you are brought before her. Father Owen starts to explain what's going on, but he is interrupted by a town guardman who says, I'm sorry, Father Owen. Your ladyship, before we proceed with this, it appears that some bullywugs have attacked south of town, and Tyrus has left. He took some of our men and left on horseback north. We don't know where or why. Something about a demon or a lich.
A lich.
We don't know what's going on, but the town is apparently under attack, or at least the mines are. I ask that you provide us with some men now that Tyrus has gone to help us deal with the situation. Father Owen goes, oh my, that is serious indeed. Your ladyship, I have brought these men before you because, as you've heard, someone has broken into the great cathedral and pillaged it of its supplies. All the scrolls and some of the potions are amiss. Luckily, none of the gold or more precious objects were taken, but still, scrolls and potions. The Baroness sits on her chair and goes, this is not the time for dealing with thievery. If the town is under attack, we must deal with that in its own way. She looks to the party and pauses for a moment. If any of you would like to speak up, now is the time.
Yeah. Your ladyship, if it pleases you, we are not that useless in a fight against Bejesus. These bullywugs, you say they are attacking. Well, I mean, you need more men. We can do some smacking. Eh? And I just look around at the rest of them.
Indeed. My little friend here speaks the truth. We once failed a pack of bugbears it was out on the road. I believe we could indeed help your men with this bullywug problem.
She looks...
I speak up, say, I would not be opposed to going in, trying to help any survivors.
Yeah, I give my agreement.
I believe Father Owen can deal with the wounded. She looks over you guys.
I am wearing armor and I probably have my shield on my back.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you have any weapons on you?
Yeah, I've got the scimitar.
Okay. Are the rest of you armed?
Would they have let me bring my bow?
Would you have gone out of your way to get your bow?
I mean, it's usually just laying next to the door, on my way up from the cellar. If they wouldn't have let me take it, then I wouldn't have taken it.
I don't think they probably would have let you take your weapon. Malachi, you carry a dagger? That's your weapon? Or
I have a staff.
You have a staff?
I probably got my staff out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a walking stick.
Right.
And
That seems
my dagger's
reasonable.
probably tucked into my pants, so I'd say that I'm fully equipped.
Croak, what do you have in the way of weapons?
I have a broadsword that would be visible. The rest of them are not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Baroness looks over you guys and goes, I believe I have enough soldiers to take care of these bullywugs. She pauses a moment
If you-
and looks to her brother. I'm sorry, not her brother. Looks to the captain of her guard, a man named Vernon. He's 42, and he's the captain of the guard here. He's one of the strongest warriors in town. And says, Vernon, would you take some of the soldiers and for the mines, see what's happening? And then she looks back to the 2 footmen that escorted you guys in. Why don't you two take these 4 down to the dungeons until this is all resolved? Once the bullywugs are taken care of, we will deal with the robbery. Make sure to strip them of their weapons.
Say, Baroness, we would never do these things we were accused of. Please give us our chance to prove our loyalty to the town. Let us vanquish these beasts.
She looks back to you. You have been of great service. I've heard good things about you, and last time we met was under much better circumstances.
Wow.
I do not believe you are guilty, but one of you, she says, kind of pointing to the whole crowd, including the sailors, may have some information, and I will not risk losing our informant in the heat of an attack.
Would it be like common practice for somebody who is like, would it be expected that we would stay in the dungeon, or would it be possible to just kind of say, like, would we be arrested by default? Is that just kind of like standard practice?
It can be. You know, she's got the authority to arrest whoever she wants. It seems it might be a little bit unusual, but this is an unusual circumstance with the bullywugs. But yeah, that's pretty standard. Some of you probably have spent a few nights in dungeon cells before. They're not fantastic, but if it's only a night or 2, whatever.
Did like Father Owen accuse us while Croak and Corny weren't there? Right, because like as far as I can tell, she's like, we've walked in, she's been told there was a robbery, there was a fight, and then she's like, arrest these men and throw them in the dungeon.
You're not sure. You haven't. There's a lot of things that have happened. You know, people speaking and messages being sent out that you guys were not privy to. So for you, it may seem like that. It may seem like you've just kind of shown up and you've been thrown in the dungeon, and it all seems very sudden.
Okay.
But I think Van Helsing would have seen Father Owen send out some messengers here or there, like, you know, tell the Baroness we'll be coming up this way, and the rest of you guys are a little unsure of what's happening. Everything's moving very quickly all of a sudden.
Okay.
But you guys are all escorted down to the dungeons. The sailors are put in 2 cells, and the 4 of you are put in another cell, but the way that the dungeon bends a little bit, you cannot see the sailors from where you are. Your weapons are taken off, and as you are brought down, you see that they're just like placed in this holding chamber just outside of the dungeons. And you guys are locked in your cell, and the guard walks away. Now, your weapons are taken away, but anything that you would have had, like you're on you in a hidden place, is still there. So, for example, Croak, your thief tools are probably still on you.
Okay.
Van Helsing, yeah, Malachi. If your dagger was tucked in in a not visible place, it would still be there. They didn't like pat you down; they just took any visible weapons.
Yeah,
so
I've got my spells. Would they have taken my armor?
No.
Okay.
Would they have taken my wineskin?
Yes.
Probably not that
Yes, actually. They just kind of like they take your stuff. So like Malachi's staff is out there. Anything that you would have had in your hands or on your back that's not like strapped to you would be gone.
Corny starts crying like a child when they take the wineskin away. But he doesn't like actually make any grabs for it or anything. He just sort of goes catatonic.
I make a case for him. I say, you may wish to let him keep his wine. He doesn't cope well with losing. It's one of the things he holds most dear.
Sure. I don't think you can escape with wine. Here you
I guess
go.
it's beer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ale basically. Yeah, I take it back and I start hugging it to my body like it's my lifeline.
Son, you need help. My uncle had a love of wine like that, and it took him to an early grave. You really should see someone about this.
But have you tasted his wine? It might be worth it.
Would you like? Oh, probably not now. Never mind.
Oh, please try some.
That's okay. You should probably worship Jexel a little less often. He shuts the door. Well, escorts you guys down the hallway, shuts the door, walks back out. Now the four of you are in a cell. The cell next to you has a single prisoner who looks very thin and like he's been locked away for a long time. He's got that like long, fraying, kind of like wavy hair. Most of the muscle and fat has left his body, and he's kind of just this thin little skeleton of a man with his hands chained up behind his head, sitting on the ground.
I feel like I would probably wait for a few minutes, and then I would get up and go talk to Karok. I want to like speak to him quietly, so that we're the only two people in this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Malachi or Corny, it is dead quiet in here. If you want to listen in,
Yeah,
you
I
can
wanna
probably
listen
listen in. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are in a jail cell, a silent dungeon. It's hard to keep things.
I
too
mostly
quiet.
want to make sure there's no like the guy in the cell next door doesn't hear anything like that.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like sort of crouch down next to Karok and I say, I don't know if you're the one who stole those scrolls, and out of respect for our companionship, I won't ask. But I know you were involved somehow. I know you had something to do with it. And either you need to help cooperate with the return of everything that was taken, or I will inform Father Owen that you were the messenger who gave me the scroll.
Van Helsing, you shouldn't be so quick to do that. They'll have all our heads.
I had nothing to do with the theft. Did you? And I turn and just kind of like look at him with a very serious face.
I saw you use that scroll on my father. There's no way we can give them all back. That bit is spent.
That which I have used has been returned. I have owned up for my crime. Have any of you?
I shake my head. I say, I think our best bet is to try and be quiet.
I will not lie in this investigation.
I was just brewing wine.
I can't.
I didn't even have the time.
I like immediately cut him off and I just say like, I trust you.
All right.
And I just
Oh, thanks.
kind of like look back to Croak and I say, you, however, have something to do with this. And I expect your cooperation.
And
This
what?
doesn't have to be anybody's end. But the only chance you have to leave these cells with your head is cooperating with the return of everything that was taken.
Sounds like the biggest danger to our head, Van, is you.
And at this point, I'm sort of like getting the vibe that Malachi is involved with all of this. And I just kind of look back at him, and I say,
I think for a minute, and I look you up and down, and I say, "Tell me, Van, honestly, what is the greater crime? I have liberated some very useful, very powerful magical scrolls that you used to save a life. Think of all the good you have done. Think of all the beauty you can bestow on the world with this power. What is the greater crime? Me gifting these powerful artifacts meant for a cleric, for someone of power and blessed by a goddess himself to use and spread goodwill and beauty across the world, or keeping them locked away, denying access to people who are dying and in need of such help. I am a vessel of gods. I gave you the power to look inside yourself and do good, do work. Now, were my methods perhaps untoward? Yes. But occasionally, it takes a man who steps outside the bounds of the law in order to do the most good in this world. And Van, think for just a minute. You have the ability now to spread as much good in this world as humanly possible. You have not only been blessed by a goddess, you now have these scrolls that have powerful magics. They would have been denied Malachi's father. Malachi's father would have died, son. He would have been a wasting and awful death. There is a lich in town. You saw Tyrus himself running off. You know Venlin came through town. He sold evil magics that defiled your god, and you are denied the ability to fight them off. Van, what is the greater evil? A small theft to empower you, or locking these things away from people?
Van Helsing doesn't, like, his face doesn't seem moved by that. He just kind of, like, looks at you and says, "The church made me the man I am today. Everything that is good in me, I learned from them. I will return everything that was stolen. Nobody needs to face punitive action for this. The most important thing is that that which was stolen is returned." I'm, like, sort of shifting between looking at Malachi and looking at Croak during this.
Oh, do we have seats, Neil?
No.
I go and stand next to Krog, and I take my dagger out from under my cloak and hand it to him. Subtly, if I can, without anyone else seeing.
You're just handing him your dagger?
I feel
Yeah,
like I
like-
would notice this.
If I can't do it quietly, I'm not saying kill him. I'm just, it's better in his hands than mine.
Okay, but I think if the two of them stand next to each other, you can position yourself in a
I
way that you
can
could
roll like pickpockets or something if you want to do it subtly.
Yeah, I feel like there should be some sort of...
Well, it's dark in the dungeons. There's not a lot in the way of light.
I have
There's a
information.
couple of sconces. Yeah, Corny can see everything. The rest of you guys are squinting in this dim light provided by torches on either end of the hall. I think he can hand it off pretty easily. It might look like they're kind of crowding together and talking to each other, so they might look suspicious in and of themselves, but the handing off can be done very easily in the dark.
Look, Van, I don't think anything we give back or anything you can say, other than if you tell them that we took these scrolls, I think we're all doomed. You included.
I had nothing to do with this theft. I
had
don't ask
everything to do with it.
anybody implicate themselves in it.
You are the only one inexplicably linked to the scrolls.
Look.
That's...
I don't like the way this is going.
I can't... No, like, as soon as he says that, I kind of, like, turn toward, I just, like, look at him and say, "Me, the only one. Croak was spotted walking out of the church where the scrolls were stolen. Malachi,
I shrug. I say,
your father was cured by the magic that came from them, and a number of sailors were arrested on suspicion of being involved.
I don't know anything
You are
about
up
the
to your
temple.
necks in this
I don't know anything
business.
about Croak.
The
I don't know
one
anything about the,
sure way to have your heads removed from your bodies is to not assist in this. You have done great work for this town, and you offered to help with the bullywug problem. Return these scrolls. and
I'm not going to take blame for anything that I haven't done. I haven't seen these scrolls. The only scroll I've seen is the one that you came into my house with. Now, if you want me to tell the truth, that's the only truth I know.
I kind of like... Is there any way I could, like, read his face to see if he's just totally bullshitting me?
No.
Because I don't want to, like, metagame this as a player.
Nope. There's no
Okay.
way in reality to know if someone's totally bullshitting you. You got to just go off of what you can read.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I
you
think
guys have.
I think in the cell, I trust Corny more than anyone else. And I kind of like stay close to him. Because things are getting kind of tense in here. I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Things are getting a little bit intense.
All right.
And I don't know. I stay quiet for now, but when a guard comes around, I ask him to send Father Lloyd down at the first possible opportunity.
Well, a guard doesn't come around for a long time. So you guys have hours to do what you want, to discuss what you want, to do whatever. Are there any actions that you guys want to do in this hour?
Not me, I don't think. I gave the dagger to Croak at some point, and then...
I just kind of stand with my back against the wall, sort of brooding.
Okay. I think the Croak, are you still here? Or did you?
I'm here. I'm
Okay.
thinking. I'm sorry.
I couldn't tell if your camera had frozen or if you were just like
No,
locked in thought.
I'm trying to figure out action-wise, like what I want to do is convince Van as much as possible that what we've done, like we don't need to give back, right? And like I don't want to kill Van. I don't want to stab him. That's a bad idea, right? I don't want to turn it into PvP and lose a character that way, even if we could potentially get rid of a person and leave, right? I guess basically my goal for the hours here is to sit and talk like as much as I can with Van and just infuse him with as much like rhetoric about all the good and beautiful things he could do for his chaotic good god, and like that even though these things may have gone missing, right? Like the giving them back would be worse for the people of this town than letting us keep them and work for the betterment of the town. Like that's just what I'm doing. Like that speech is basically just going on a lot for an hour.
Okay.
I don't think Van interrupts, but like Croak's a companion, so it's not like he dislikes you, but it's at the same time you've also like you tried to sell your sister, or you tried to like just get your sister to marry off some guy to save 20 gold. It's like I think he's kind of catching on to the idea that you're kind of a snake oil salesman.
Sure.
And he's I don't know, I don't feel like he's convinced in any way.
See through him.
Like, yeah, I still think like I think his opinion hasn't changed that the only real way to go forward is to return everything that was stolen. But he doesn't say anything during this whole conversation. He just kind of like sits there and just kind of like broods against the wall.
So I don't speak much, but in the times that I do, I guess I try and appeal to Van Helsing's self-preservation side, and whilst denying any involvement in the actual scrolls themselves, I just say, I don't think owning up to something that we may or may not have done, I look at Croak, that one of us may or may not have done, I don't think it's going to get us anywhere, except hanging from the rafters.
I don't think you'll find the law so immediately punitive.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Do you honestly think you'll get out of this dungeon if they can't find who took the scrolls?
I nod.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about this. Croak was seen in the church when the scrolls were stolen. Your father was miraculously cured after they were stolen. You are up to your necks in this business, whether you want to admit it or not. Even if you are innocent, and I kind of like just glare at Malachi with that, and I say, the only chance you have is to fully cooperate. If you don't cooperate, they're going to see you as staying silent. And if they think you're staying silent, they're going to think you're guilty. You are too involved to be fully innocent.
I'm prepared to cooperate and tell them everything that I know, that I saw you coming in with the scroll. I didn't stop you. But if you maintain that Croak knows something and Croak can find the scrolls and he doesn't cooperate, then it implicates us all by association. Do yourself a favor and just deny. I don't know how much you can deny. I mean, I don't know where you got that scroll from.
I just kind of say, I think we have different ideas as to what will ensure our self-preservation. Innocent men don't attempt to hide their tracks. And I don't mean that as like a threat to him. I mean that more as like a warning. Okay, both as a player and as a character, Van doesn't think that there's any good to come from this, from lying through this whole situation. I think the only real chance we have is to just not necessarily own up to stealing. It's like Van didn't fucking rob the place, but I think the only chance we have is to actually fully cooperate and get that shit back. Because the only way there's going to be any sort of...
If we give the scrolls back, then we prove that we stole them. In which case the crime is committed regardless of whether you apologize for it a day later or not. You still did it.
them being returned is probably the only way we're going to see any mercy in this whatsoever. I don't think we can just worm our way out of this as a player.
Well,
Yeah. Can we find out about what is the law like?
Van, are you talking in character or are you talking as a player?
This is
'Cause
me as a player.
I can argue a lot of ways I think we could potentially get out of this, but this is a space for role play.
Yeah.
As a player, I don't think there's any ways we could worm our way out of this where
I think
Van
we
would
can.
be okay with it. I think Van would be morally opposed to most ways that would involve worming the way out of it.
But you're okay. But as a player, you're okay with getting the scrolls back and framing somebody else for it, so we don't.
well,
just
hold on,
face
let's
punishment?
keep
no,
this
no.
these
Yeah, let's keep
arguments
it in
in
character.
game. Also, so it sounds like the characters are not going to change their minds. We could probably sit here and you guys could argue for half an hour and make all the great points you
I want
want.
to know
I think
what Corny thinks. Like, in character.
Yeah, I think at some
Like,
point like, we'll
after
stop
some
talking.
time of
Oh yeah, and I look around as you all look at me. And I'm like, I'm too sober for this. I'm gonna go take a piss.
No.
Stop
Okay.
it.
not in the cell. Piss on that guy over there.
Yeah.
there is a bucket
come-
for you
oh,
guys.
okay.
Yeah, I go to the bucket, and I just as I go to the bucket, I probably don't pee because I'm thinking really hard about whose side I should choose. And they're just all staring at me, and I turn around, hopefully not with my fly open.
Aren't you lawful good?
I am true neutral, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Even if, yeah.
I thought you were lawful good for some reason.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm the only good person in the party. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I look between you guys. I'm like, Van, just do what you think is right. Just don't let this turn into a fight. What you guys are arguing about, it's really dumb. I mean, what would you want to be able to tell your mum? That you stole some scrolls and did some shit? Well, you just get hit. Just do the right thing, Van. You know what it is. Now, I'm actually going to take a piss. I turn around and pee.
Your urination is successful.
I don't have to roll. You sure?
Yeah, you're fine.
Good. Cool.
Okay.
That was lovely.
Is there
I
like a
guess we
burning
wait.
sensation or? Oh no, he has four charisma. Never mind.
He's quite all right. So Croak. Oh, the only thing I want to know left to know is Croak. You have your thieves' tools. Are you going to try and pick the lock at any point, or should we just fast forward until when you guys are brought up?
Is there like at any point a guard who will come by so that I can I want to ask him
It
to
will
bring
take
Father
many
Light.
hours before a guard shows up.
Yeah, but I mean we were gonna stay for like a night or two in the dungeons before anything happened, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
I just want
want
to know if
to-
before the guard shows up, someone tries to pick a lock or bend the bars or something like that. I want to know if there are any escapes attempts being made.
Van makes no escape attempt.
Does anyone else try any escape attempts?
I'd like to try to bend the bars.
All right. What is your bend bars percentage? It's
2.
on your character sheet. All right. So you
Please
guys
roll
see.
2.
Well,
Just
Corny,
tell
tell us what it looks
All right, yeah,
like when
so-
you are walking up to these bars.
Probably this is during a time when they're in like heated argument.
hmm
When Van is just stalwart and Croak is telling him, you know what you need to do. And I just walk up to the bars and I'm like,
Are you just are you wasted at this point? Like you have your wineskin. Are you?
I've probably drunk like half my wineskin, but this is some strong stuff. So, and I'm a small gnome.
Okay.
I think I'd be at least tipsy, at least.
Okay, all right.
But I'm mostly doing this because gnomes need to do something. So
Yeah.
I just walk up to the bars just nonchalantly.
Give me a percentage
Does-
roll. D100. You want to roll 1 or a 2?
Does he get a bonus to his Ben Bars roll for hitting the Balmer Peak?
No.
I wasn't even thinking of that. But that's beautiful. All right, guys. No.
Nowhere near it.
I was hoping like a 3. That would have been perfect, but yeah. Yep, I just scream.
Yeah, like a 3. The bars are groaning. They just barely don't move.
Yeah. I do that for probably a couple until someone tells me to stop. Probably.
Yeah, I think Connie, what are you doing?
Yeah, I just kind of walk up, put my hand on his shoulder, and just I don't say anything, but kind of slowly pull him back from the bars. I kind of I kind of like sit him down against the wall and just kind of like move his wineskin a couple of feet away from him and just kind of leave it there on the ground. Like, I think you've had a little bit too much to drink.
Yeah, I just like fall on my side and start sleeping.
So I guess I want to have a brief word with Malachi then, at some point, and I'll let him know, like, well, I do have some of these. I kind of pull out a pick or two, look at them, put it back. Ways to perhaps get out of here, but I fear that if we take this course of action, we're leaving town for good, and I do not know if Van will come with us. Now, I think that there is very little chance that we get caught for this crime unless Van decides to tell everyone what he knows. So I'll leave it up to you. I can get us out of here and to your ship and we can leave, or we sit here in the cell and we'll have ourselves a chat with the law, and we'll put our faith in Mr. Van.
Neil, what would happen if the party split up into 2 people and 2 people permanently? How would every session?
Oh, we're taking Corny with us.
If
I don't know about that.
If it permanently
We're talking
split, like
about-
2 of you escaped town and 2 of you stayed in town, I think at that point we pick a party of 2, and that becomes the official party, and the other party is gone. And that could come up just by dice rolls. That's probably how we would determine it. Is each person on each side. So each party of 2 would roll 2d20, and then
So what you're
whoever gets the
saying
higher
is, if
amount.
they try to escape, we have to stop them to ensure that we're the players who stay in the show.
Oh, or you get lucky, or you kill
Luck,
them,
yeah.
whatever. Or you go with them. The power of
Yes,
friendship.
come with us.
Power of
Hey,
friendship.
Craig, when you say that, I mean, do you say it loud enough that Van hears?
No,
No,
at least
no.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
I was in
proposing
another
this
part of the
to
cell.
you.
Yeah, it's me and Van on one side. You guys are probably on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably can listen in if he's real intent on it, but I have been talking his ear off for a couple hours at this point. He might be tuning us out.
I'm not sure what to do for the best. I don't think we can't trust Van to come with us. I'm not
Can I
sure we
speak as a player here for a second, or should we stay in character?
Let's stay in character. If you have out-of-game remarks to make that don't affect in-game, that's fine. But discussions between players, we should try
Yeah,
to avoid.
Okay.
I'm not sure we can trust him not to implicate us if this comes to a trial. Or not to implicate you, at least.
Then you
Sounds
want me to open the cell up?
Great.
I'm not sure. Maybe we should ask him. A fresh start. Got a boat right there. Although our crew, and I look to is locked up. I assume, are they all the sailors that were my father's crew?
Yeah.
Yes, they are locked
yeah.
into 2 different cells, or at least you heard 2 different doors being opened and closed when they were locked up.
How big is the ship? We couldn't sail it as 4.
No,
We'd have to get them out as well.
It's a thing I can try. It is an option. If it were up to me, I would sit in this cell and I would tell the truth that I know, that I don't have the scrolls and you don't have the scrolls and I don't know who took them, but we'll definitely hope to find out who it is. I know that there's some evil shit going on in town. There's something about a lich. We know there's some evil wizard that has something to do with ugliness potions. I bet he has some gripes against the church. There's enough evidence here that I thought we could get out of this without having to flee the coop, if you will. Our one hang-up here is Mr. Van.
I agree. If he didn't have such a high standing in the town, I wouldn't be as worried, but I feel
He
that
has a high standing, so maybe you should cooperate. All right, I'm done.
if it comes to his word against yours, I'm not.
Then I'll hang.
Yeah.
all right. Any other thoughts?
I didn't get a firm yes, so I'm sitting in the.
Yeah, I didn't give you a firm yes.
Okay. Why don't we take our break, and when we come back, we will. I think no one's breaking out, so I think we're gonna just go on with what happens next when we come back.
Yeah, like
We're all
guard-
young.
yeah, guards will come by like long before any sort of like we get brought up, right? Like I
Maybe.
still want to ask for Father Lloyd to be brought down.
Depends on what's happening in the outside world.
Uh-oh.
I mean, Bullywugs, town, who knows?
Everyone could be dead. We're just fucking
Right.
stuck in this cell.
We could be in the safest part of town for all we
Okay, if Shirebrook got legit overrun by bullywugs, we'd probably die anyways.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take our first break and we will
Alright.
come back and see you guys on the other side of our break. Bye.
Okay. All right.